Mr. Christoph Hörstel. Thank you very much indeed for being with us in this interview.
Best regards to Tehran, Mr. Mehdi.
Mr. Hörstel, Bahraini protesters have once again held rallies in several villages across the country, calling on the al-Khalifa rulers to give up power. Security forces fired tear gas and rubber bullets at the rallying crowd in Sitra. Why don't anti-regime demonstrators in Bahrain show any sign of backing down despite the government's ongoing crackdown?
Bahrain has left a stage where you could simply back out. That is impossible. There are too many people sitting in prison unjustly. Tomorrow we have an important trial where several prisoners' cases will be reviewed. And let's make it clear, all of these prisoners are in prison for unjust reasons. Too many people have died by the hundreds, and too many people have been tortured and beaten and tear gassed with a very poisonous type of tear gas, which can even kill people, and it did so in the past. So we have this kind of brutal, bloody oppression, and the people, in a way, I was told by my Bahraini friends, they dress up in white in the morning when they go to these demonstrations, and they say a prayer, and for them the life is finished. So this is the way they go. So there's a lot of courage in the people, and a lot of will to continue this protest peacefully, and it is deplorable, that there's so little support from Western countries, and instead there's support to the oppression by police officers from the UK and from the US for the al-Khalifa regime, and that is a very bad situation, and it doesn't allow the people to back out. That means they would, for their feeling, they would kill their relatives and brothers and sisters and friends again if they stop now.
Similar demonstrations have been held in the island Persian Gulf country on an almost daily basis since February last year. Scores of people have been killed and thousands more detained in the government's crackdown. Is this the will of the people that would be the final winner, in your opinion? Could they see any establishment of a democratically elected government? Or it's al-Khalifa dynasty that would be the final winner?
To my best feeling, the people will continue, no doubt. They are very courageous. The women are very courageous. They play an equal role. So, we have so many, women's rights defenders here in our countries. But in the case of Bahrain, I don't hear them so much. So this is a situation that this regime is too powerful and feels the full backing by the non-democratic Saudis and the double standard West, and that is something that makes me very sure, that convinces me that unless there is an outcry, from other countries, there will be too little change in time before this turns violent. And the non-violence so far was the strength of this movement. So that is a very dangerous and difficult situation.
Bahrainis have been holding frequent demonstrations in support of political prisoners since hundreds of opposition activists were arrested as part of Manameh crackdown on protests last year, demanding the release of all political prisoners. How do you explain this possibility, Mr. Hörstel?
Very low, very low. For the tomorrow's trial, the Bahraini activists, such as my dear friend Mariam al-Khawaja, the daughter of the foremost human rights fighter in Bahrain, she's awaiting, some kind of leniency, but she says nobody will get free tomorrow. So we can wait for the outcome tomorrow, but in fact the injustice doesn't go away. Also, Mariam al-Khawaja very clearly says what I said in the beginning: these people should not be in prison in the first place. The whole fact that they are there it's the wrong place. it's the royal family that should be in prison together with a lot of people from the government and officials and torturers and things like that. These torturers even are inside the royal family. They brag about their dirty work. And this is such a bad situation that I think to be more vociferous should be a duty for all Arab countries. But unfortunately, under the rule of the new Egyptian president, Ms. al-Khawaja was harassed in Cairo airport, and she has written a letter to the president asking himself why he, as a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, being harassed by Mubarak in the past, is now doing the same on the Bahraini people in continuation of what the late President Mubarak had done. So that, I think, was a very clever question to ask him, and so far there was no answer. But this is in fact the basic questions of all Bahrainis. Why is there so little Arab solidarity towards these courageous people of Bahrain? And
one last question, Mr. Hörstel. The Sheikh Dam has been the scene of anti-regime demonstrations since February 2011. The Manomay regime forces have been cracking down on the protesters ever since, and scores of people have been killed and many others have been arrested during the revolution. Why doesn't the United States, which make hue and cry about democracy and human rights, blame al-Khalifa regime, doesn't hold it responsible for the killing of innocent people, and doesn't prevent it from further crimes against peaceful protesters?
This question is very good, in fact, because to me this is a very unwise decision by the American government. On one hand, you could say, okay, they have, their naval base situated on the island, and they are afraid they might lose it if they don't take part in the oppression. But I can tell you right now that the number of people in America is growing to think exactly opposite. They say, if we continue to, support this criminal regime of the al-Khalifa family, this is a surefire way to one day lose the naval base, because, the Bahraini people cannot be all killed or oppressed forever. And for that reason, if we Americans want to secure our naval base, we should support the people. We should make a gradually shift of policies and make sure that in the first place, all these brutalities stop at once, and then look for, slow change and the transfer of power and things like that, all the usual intelligent things one could imagine. And in fact, I know that al-Wifaq, the biggest opposition party right now, is in close contacts with the Americans. They're talking to them. They have close exchanges, and they're suggesting just this. And to me, it's one of these, many fooleries we see from the U.S. today, that they are not seeing their real chances. And this is how a superpower might lose out in the future quite big, because they produce so many errors.
Well, Mr. Christoph Hörstel, a publicist and also government and business consultant based in Berlin, Germany. Appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mehdi. Take care.